Hey, welcome to my channel. This is Spirit Soul Sense, information for your soul. And I am really into politics and I'm really into like social issues. And I was thinking about diving deep into some of those on this video. So I don't identify as conservative or liberal or Republican or Democrat or anything really. I like to think that I have very diverse views. And I really enjoy exposing myself to different views. So I don't just follow, people I like. Like I signed up for, I think it was Republican convention for, it wasn't millennials, but it was something for like young people. And like I signed up for their newsletter because I enjoy reading newsletters. I did unsubscribe because I didn't like it a lot. So if I don't like it a lot, then I'm not going to like subject myself to it. Like I don't watch the news. Like I don't listen to anyone's news. I very rarely listen to commentary. It's usually something a friend sends me that I end up like watching, but I really don't engage in consuming verbally the news. I much prefer to read it, and I tend to read headlines and like skim through articles because there's just so much negativity that I just know I will not be able to keep up with it. So what spurred this video is really I was exposed, that sounds so dramatic. A friend told me about Jordan Peterson like in the last 6 months. And if you don't know, you should definitely look Jordan Peterson up on YouTube. He has a ton of videos. And I really, really enjoy Jordan Peterson. I like have a couple video ideas about him. But the more I like research him and look him up, like there's so many people who don't like him. And like they don't just not like him, they just say so many negative things about him. And so I'm anxious about doing a video saying how much I enjoy Jordan Peterson. And so in being exposed to Jordan Peterson, I'm still saying exposed, in someone sharing Jordan Peterson with me and following his videos, this is not the first time. It's like, but I think a lot of people who watch Jordan Peterson are conservative, traditional. Maybe Jordan Peterson is conservative, but I don't know. I think he has like really interesting ideas. But anyway, I've always been getting, because I expose myself to so many different types of videos, YouTube always recommends like, Trump ads for me. And like in the last election, I voted for a libertarian. I don't identify as libertarian, but I knew I didn't like Trump and I knew I didn't like Hillary. And so I didn't want to vote for either one of them. That's not the strategy I'm planning on taking. This year, I'm not doing that this year. When people said you throw away your vote, I understand now. I was really trying to make a point that I'm over the two-party system, but listen, I have a whole other video called I'm Glad Trump Won or whatever. So it's everything that's supposed to happen is happening. So Jordan Peterson in my YouTube, because I've been watching, he reminds me of people I know in real life. I have been getting like recommended videos that I guess are more conservative in nature because their algorithm, like if you like this then you probably like this, and I do click on them because I'm very like intrigued. So I found out who Ben Shapiro is for the first time. A friend of mine has been following him for years to hate. Like like a fan who hates, like he doesn't like him, like he doesn't like him at all. And I don't know, I don't not like, unless you're hurting me. I know there's like this this quote, I don't know if it did, maybe James Baldwin said it, or someone who follows James Baldwin said it, like we can disagree, but if your disagreement is oppressive to me, then that's when I have a problem. And so I don't know enough about Ben Shapiro to say he's oppressive. I understand that some policies, history has shown that there are a lot of policies, both on the Democratic and Republican side, that have been oppressive to minority communities. I think that's a fact. And I often compare Republicans and Democrats because they're both humans and they both sit on sort of extremes of ideas without really understanding that this other person is not an other who you're against, but like we're all trying to live happy and healthy lives. I really think that's what everyone is trying to do. A Republican, a Democrat, Libertarian, like all of everyone, I think, right? Aren't you trying to live a happy and healthy? You just want to be happy. You want to make sure you have enough money to have fun and enjoy your life. So I have been watching some Ben Shapiro videos. The last one I watched was an interview or a conversation he had with Hafiz on the Roommates podcast. The Roommates podcast is also another media that I consume where I don't agree with everything they say. I think those guys are doing great work, like their work ethic. Like I think they're working really hard. But I mean, when you're young, there's, if you're not old soul, there's only so much wisdom you can possibly have at a certain age. And so I think they are exactly where they're supposed to be. And, it's a development. It's just not where I am at in my life. But I enjoy, because they're two black men, and I enjoy supporting their content even if I don't agree with them. So I really, really, really enjoyed the conversation that Ben Shapiro had with Hafiz. And I was just like, well, why are people saying so much negative things? And I don't know the man, and I haven't been following him more than 2 weeks or whatever, it hasn't been long at all. But I think I have some interesting beliefs. You can see from my channel, I'm very spiritual. I really believe in treating people with kindness, and especially if people aren't being, because I really have compassion for so many types of people. I really understand people who are struggling in life, and I am currently rereading Marianne Williamson's A Return to Love, and it really is doubling down on this idea that love is all there is and everything else is fair. And so I can really understand what someone is going through when they're not being kind, when they're not being their best self, like they're moving in fear. And the best thing I can do for this person is to have love and compassion for them. But after watching some of Ben Shapiro's work, I was really questioning, like, well, what are my political beliefs? Like, oh my gosh, what do I really believe, or what do I want to happen? Because I really pay a lot of attention to local politics, like where I'm from. I mean, I'm new to Georgia, so I really don't know much about the local politics here, but I make it a point to find out like what's going on locally, because I think that's the most important thing. And so when there's like bigger, like much bigger issues, like, okay, student loans, right? Do I agree or support that student loans should be forgiven? I mean, I have a lot of student loans, and my goal is to pay them back, right? I have a plan in place to pay them back. Would I benefit from having my student loans forgiven? Yes, but I also acknowledge that this is not it's not a case study. Like, it's not just about me. I think and so like, I think with the way I view things, it's more about what will be the best thing for all, right? And so it sounds like the federal government has mismanaged, or I guess the government in general has made it very difficult for folks to afford a college education. And so like, forgiving student loans doesn't fix the fact that the price of an education has skyrocketed and that wages haven't increased with it. So it's just like, what? It would give a lot of Americans a chance now if their loans were forgiven, because a lot of people who have like, I don't know, like 50,000, whatever, could get out of that debt and contribute more to the government. I don't know. Something that's really big also is like abortion. Do I consider myself pro-choice? because I feel like I don't believe I should tell people what to do with their lives. I really just feel like we shouldn't be telling people what to do with their lives. Would I ever have an abortion? No, I got pregnant at 17. An abortion was never an option for me. But I understand that not everyone has the resources that I have. And so my mentality is just, what would be the best thing for most people? Honestly, I think abortion is also late in the conversation because like this idea that women want to have a woman doesn't want an unwanted pregnancy, you know what I mean? And so a lot of the point of getting to an abortion is a lack of resources, ignorance, lack of education. And so it's like, well, if this is the last resort for some folks, if you're not going to give them all the things they need to make an informed decision, then why would you also take this away from them? It's just like big structural sort of issues. And so I think more on the side of change, that the way the government has been run has definitely been to support middle-aged white men. I really say this all the time. I think America, society, media reflects the views of a middle-aged white man. And while I love middle-aged, I know some really nice middle-aged white men. They are lovely people. It's one viewpoint, and it's a valid viewpoint to like beer and all the stereotypes of young women. It's a valid viewpoint. It's valuable. But there's so many other viewpoints, and I think there's so many other people that could benefit from a lot of the things that were made specifically for, white folks. I mean, that's like my thought process. So like in my personal life, I might be more traditional than most. I think I mean, is wanting a man to pay all the bills traditional? Like, is that, because that's kind of what I expect. I'm from the Caribbean, so we have a lot of gender roles that are in place still, and I love folks who get out of gender, like do whatever you want. But I think for myself, I'm a little bit more like traditional in that sense, and I really, really, really believe in community, and communities taking care of each other and fostering and communicating and being supportive. I know that America is just built a different kind of way, and so when you have so many people who are on the bottom and struggling to live their best life, I think that's a problem. And so I really do support policies that would enact like very sweeping sort of changes. I don't believe in band-aids. Like, things are baby steps, and I am okay with that. I'm feeling really passionate talking about this stuff. Politics are important to me. Social issues, I feel like I'm an advocate for a lot of folks, and I give voice to things that are really important. I think that I am able to have less emotion in it because I feel like I understand the process more, and I understand people, and I try not to judge people, and I don't think anyone is evil. Regular people. I don't really think regular people are evil. There are definitely people who live in fear who then are like evil. But I just feel like the people who are running politics is an inherently ego-filled enterprise. It's why I am like, I know I would be great in politics, but the people that you have to interact with, I would just be so drained all the time. So moral of the story is, I'm not conservative, not really. I'm not liberal, not really. I'm really open to a lot of different ways of solving problems in America. Okay? Thank you for watching. Oh God, what was I saying?